an NPC.
Let's rock!
When you depend on me
To give you
weapons and
insight, information for the journey and still you still shit and try to hurt me. Let's talk!
When you're an NPC.
Let's rock!
So, I promised you all more World of Darkness videos, and I plan to deliver on that one, as you can probably clearly see today. The problem with that being is that there's only 22, 24, if you kind of want to get a little weird about it, games in the World of Darkness line, both old and new, and quite frankly, with that limited supply, I'm quickly running out of games to talk about. So if we look onto my site, I'm already about, a third of the way through at this rate. I'm going to run out of things to talk about. Now, I could separate these into different editions, definitely, and I probably plan to do that in the future, at least comparing and contrasting where they were and how are they now. But right now, I think I want to switch gears a little bit. So the way that I'm going to kind of talk about World of Darkness without reviewing games is to give little videos like this, because I know people like top 5 lists, and I love top 5 lists, and I love World of Darkness, so that's what we're here to talk about. I also gotten a lot of requests for Vampire the Masquerade stuff, and seeing as how I want to save that for a later date, I figured this would be a good way to kind of satiate the appetite, so to speak, until we can actually get that Vampire the Masquerade review out. So, with this being said, one of my most popular links on my website, Tanner Reviews, is the best and worst bloodlines and clans of Vampire the Masquerade. And I was thinking to myself that this has kind of changed just slightly over the years, and I think a redoing of this is definitely warranted. So I decided today that I would do a list of the top 5 best clans/bloodlines in Vampire the Masquerade. So, the way that this list is going to work is that every bloodline and clan is up for grabs in this one. The only ones that are out is, I'm throwing out ones that are just like Brujah Antitribu, I'm throwing out like just Malkavian Antitribu. I really want, if they have a name to them, like Panders or something like that, then they're included. And even things from the Dark Ages, like the Onda, are also going to be included in this. So, I want that to be clear that I'm only like putting a couple to the side, not a lot. I also want to stress that this is my own personal opinion. If you have a differing opinion of mine, that's fine. Completely cool. Make your own video. I'm sure many people will love it. But I really did base this on a number of different things. Not only just how much people like to play these characters, but really what they mean for the overall game. So some of them might be a little weird. Like, one of the ones that I'm going to select is a very rarely seen one. But the mythos behind it and its mythos connecting to the wider mythos makes it very important. So I'm really judging this not only on playability, not only on recognizement, but also just what does this clan mean for the game itself. With that being said, we're going to start off with number 5. Number 5, the Tzimisce. What can best be the representative of the vampires of old, the fiends with their ability of fleshcraft are one of the most feared clans in the game. Honestly, how can you make a top 5 list of best clans and not put the clan that was the home of fucking Count Dracula on this list? That is just sacrilegious, let's be honest. Either Old Clan Tzimisce or Tzimisce itself, either way, he was a Tzimisce. They take a tumble down the list due to the fact that I wanted to showcase 4 other examples of vampires in the game that I think make a better representation of Vampire the Masquerade and the mythos at large. However, Tzimisce will always have a place on this list, even if it is at the bottom. Number 4, the Nosferatu. I debated between the Nosferatu and the Malkavians on which one would make this list, mainly because I wanted to choose one that seemed the most in on the joke. While the Malkavians put up a fight, the Nosferatu seemed to be at least more cognizant of the vampire's role in the world and how to manipulate that. And ultimately the certainty won out between the ambiguity. The Nosferatu are probably one of the most well-rounded and deep of the vampiric clans, if for no other reason than you have to make them tantalizing to play with, since they look like some of the ugliest creatures on this planet. It is so weird how the mere concept of vanity will win over for clans like Nosferatu, who truly have the power in the vampire world. With a mix of context of knowledge seekers, the Shreknet, which is the most impenetrable network of computers in the world, expert extortionists, and wonderful sense of self-deprecating humor, it can be argued that Nosferatu are the true power wielders of the vampire world, even above that of the Ventrue, who they can actually throw their power over through ideas of extortion, as well as being the power behind the throne, which they truly take to heart. Nosferatu are a group within the group. They have their own agenda and a sharp intellect that keeps them pushing forward. And they're a member of the Camarilla not because of some divine sense of connection to the traditions, but really because it's the best thing for the Nosferatu as a whole. Ultimately, Clan Nosferatu gave the jaded player an opportunity to tell all the other clans to fuck off, and that they were the true power behind the pretty people of the world. Number 3, the Toreador. A complete shift of gears, I know, but if you have a list like this, you cannot exclude the Toreador. Now, myself, personally speaking, I actually am not a huge fan of playing Toreadors. My favorite clan is Brujah, but really, if that shows it, this is the impartiality I have to show, is that I had to keep the Brujah off this list so I could showcase the Toreador. And really, this fight was actually between the Toreador, the Ventrue, and the Tremere, and it was the Toreador that won out. The reason being is due to the historical context of Vampire the Masquerade. While Vampire the Masquerade takes from just about every conceivable mythos on vampire created before its original creation in the early 1990s, the area they took from the most was Anne Rice's series of books. Out of all of the vampires in the game, none exemplify Anne Rice's original concept of a vampire better than Clan Toreador. Often nicknamed the Degenerates, the Toreador is the clan of the artists. Having not lost their sense of beauty from the embrace, it is in fact increased tenfold as the kindred in question can become almost paralyzed by incredibly beautiful things, often a clan for the lovers, not the fighters. Toreador is a favorite among anyone who loves the romantic aspects of a vampire mythos. While the Toreador may not be my favorite clan, I do have to say it is one of the most well thought out and needed aspects of the game. It is just a fact of life that people love to romanticize vampires, and this clan gives them the ability to fulfill their wishes, as well as remain accurate to the interpretation of Rice's contributions to the game itself. Number 2, Salubri. The former clan Salubri that was all but wiped out by the Tremere Warlocks. This clan is one of the most interesting concepts in the entire game due to the fact that they may be one of the last hopes for kindred to regain their actual humanity through the means of a nirvana like Golconda. Yet, thanks to some magnificent propaganda by the Tremere, they are labeled as demonic soul suckers. They become the most fascinating by the mere fact that they feel like the kindred's last hope at redemption and to regain their humanity, but instead they are hunted to near extinction and labeled as the worst of the worst when it comes to the kindred. It's sometimes hard to remember that the key part of Vampire the Masquerade is trying to maintain your humanity in a sea of evil as this beast inside you is trying to claw itself out. The Salubri really were the ones that were trying to actually find a way to regain humanity, and yet it was dashed, making a great showing of symbolism. The Salubri are an amazing concept and well executed. Due to the contradicting nature of their antediluvian salute, and their history with the Tremere, the concept of a Salubri almost becomes a sort of paradise lost. Their one hope to regain their humanity is cast aside due to warlock usurpers and labeled as demon soul suckers to boot. Number 1, the Lasombra. I cannot help it. I just can't help it. They may not be my favorite, but whenever I think of a vampire, whenever I think of a creature lurking in the night, drifting in the shadows, I can think of no better representation than Clan Lasombra. If the Salubri represent the paradise lost of kindred, then Lasombra are the personification of the beast within all of them. Of all the clans and bloodlines within the game, that it is so in tune with their predatory nature. While other vampires attempt to hold on to the last shreds of humanity, the Lasombra embrace their true nature of what they've become. They love nothing more than being sadistic tyrants and view themselves as the next evolutionary step of the human race. Social Darwinists through and through, the Lasombra lurk in the shadows and kill without remorse. The reason I put Lasombra at the top of this list is that out of all of the kindred, they seem the best representation of the darkness of the game. They are predators, they lurk in the shadows, and they absolutely revel in it. In a game series called World of Darkness, it takes a certain type of character and a variety being the spice of life. You have beast, artists, rebels, lunatics, blue bloods, and more. And when it comes to the true darkness and beauty, people who revel in their vile ways, it's just a perfect storm of evil. And that is honestly why Lasombra is the best representation of a vampire in World of Darkness. I hope you enjoyed this list, and really, I would like you to like and subscribe for more. Also, please, put in the comments below a couple of other of top lists, top 5 or top 10 lists that you would like to see. I am more than happy to create them, and I really want to hear what you all would like to see beyond something like the top 5 best clans and bloodlines. So please, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I hope to see you on Tuesday for another episode of Crit or Miss.
Life's tough.
When you're in PC.
Life's rough.
When you depend on me.
To give you
Weapons
weapons,
and armor,
information for the journey and still you still pushing and trying to hurt me. Life's tough.